If you're doing great work and accomplish a lot, the chances are that you're already using a system like Barbell. You might use your calendar to block off plan time and take notes to brain dump and journal. What is new might be reframing your to-do list as options only, or do you most probably allocate some spontaneous time to do whatever you want. Overall, it is the most natural way to master your life. And as I mentioned in the beginning, a calendar, task manager, and note-taking app are all you need to thrive no matter what happens. By separating between total dedication during your planned time and total spontaneity during your unplanned time, you become both reliable and can have fun. You get things done and open up doors for massive luck to enter your house at any moment. So the most important is this: set it and forget it. The barbell system is designed for forgetting its existence. And if you adjust your options on your task manager, and if you adjust your calendar and write stuff down, you don't need to be aware of it. And by forgetting the system and focusing on your activities at the moment, nothing can stop you. You stop totally seeking and start to live totally. I'm going to present to you the most common questions and answers. And if you want to see more, because it's a living document and more questions might be added over time, you can check out the original document in the description and show notes, because this one is going to be updated. So I recommend that you check it out if you want to see upcoming questions and want to see whether yours are included as well. But other than that, you can check back from time to time and send your questions and feedback to me via social media channels and stuff like that. So now I'm going to present the current questions and answers. Number one, do you recommend a waiting for list? And the answer is, as long as you have the habit of checking it regularly, it might be a great reference document to use. However, you can do just fine without it by making calendar reminders ahead of time if you need to follow up. Next question, how much time should be planned versus unplanned? It depends a lot on your job and life situation. However, you could aim for at least 1 to 2 hours of pure unplanned time. This time can also function as a buffer if unexpected things happen. The more emptiness in your schedule, the better you can take advantage of opportunities. And ideally, you want to have as much unplanned time as possible. 50-50 is the optimum, although it might change over the years. Do I recommend tracking metrics? Third question. And the answer is, yeah, if you like it, then that's fine. But it's not necessarily necessary, so to speak, since much of what you do is already tracked. Your calendar and checked off tasks provide a record of what you're doing anyway. An exception might be tracking your failures to give you a solid boost. And I will link the article in the show notes. And fourth question, what's my opinion on Cal Newport's capture configure control system? It's way too top down. I tried it for over a year and I can attest to its futility when trying to plan the future. And you have to keep in mind as well that Newport lives in a stable and predictable environment, which is academia and book writing. And I've written more about why you should not plan your future in an article, which I also link in the show notes. Because these individual forecasts, for instance, like weekly plan, quarterly plan, vision, stuff like that, they seldom apply to almost any other situation, especially in business, because you're locking into prematurely into what you want to expect and thus ignoring opportunities. And so it is better to have quite a flexible time ahead and adjust to the present moment instead. But the only practice I can recommend from the system is time blocking. But if you already use the calendar, you don't need to time block since you already do. Next question. How does barbell fit into the Eisenhower box? 4 quadrants with do it, defer it, delegate it, and drop it, etc. But if you're doing barbell, you automatically do obligations or whatever you want. You also use a calendar to plan the obligations and delegate them if that's the case. So the Eisenhower box is already fulfilled. Next question. It seems like you've got a lot of inspiration from Nassim Taleb. Is that the case? And the answer is yes. This productivity system is dedicated to his work since he has proven the uselessness of predicting the future and instead relies on anti-fragility, as you might do too. And I was very inspired by part 3 in the masterpiece Anti-Fragile, where he outlines the barbell principle as a solution for not needing to predict the future. And this is what the system also allows you to do. You don't need to be reassured of something going to happen, since you have your options already. And the obligation is just to make yourself reliable enough to continue with whatever you're doing. But other than that, it's like the world is your oyster, and you can just adjust at any moment and get the convexity bias as a result. So I am applying his wisdom to the productivity world. Next question. How do I know if I'm using the barbell system correctly? And the answer is if you do the following 5 things. Number 1, always look at your calendar widget when opening up your home screen. Number 2, write down options on your options list and plan obligations to your calendar. 3, write down other ideas or thoughts in your note-taking app. 4, always adjust in the moment depending on reality. And 5, experience a solid sense of presence whenever you do something. And this week's premium article will showcase 3 fictional characters using the system and their experience. You can check out the article for inspiration if you are a member. Next question. How do I add habits and small obligations? Most of the time, you don't need to add a separate event for habits if you follow these instructions. For small obligations, you can modify the upcoming event. For example, first small obligation plus planned activity. So it's a better way to fit it in to your overall planned time, so to speak. Next question. How should I design my notes and name my files? I mentioned your self-organizing system here, and I'll link it in show notes as well. But it's beneficial to make your notes and files as searchable as possible. And for your notes, make a headline. That's all you need, really. And for your files, name them into the relevant keywords and dates so they become searchable. Next question. Do you expect to abandon this system as well as you did with OneGlance? And that is not the plan. Only having no system will replace barbell. And at the moment, I can't see why you would want a system in the first place. Because barbell relies on principles thousands of years old and also welcomes chaos compared to most other systems. And it's time tested by now. Next question. Do you still recommend this entry-exit practice, which I link in shows as well? And if you find good use of it, then you can do it. But otherwise, you don't need to. Last question for now, and you can always check the document if there are more popping up. Is this all there is? And the answer is yes. No further complication. Just focus on doing your work and living your life.